Okay, imagine this. You wake up, it's super early, coffee's just starting, and you look out your window, and you see something wild. There, at your mailbox, is your HOA president. And get this, she's in a lavender bathrobe, rifling through your mail.
Wow, that's quite a picture. Sounds almost surreal.
Totally surreal. But it actually happened. It's a true story. And it's kind of this perfect storm, where a petty neighborhood thing just escalates, spirals right into a federal sting operation, handcuffs, the whole 9 yards.
Right. It's fascinating how those lines can blur so quickly. Local drama meets federal law.
Exactly. So today, that's our deep dive. We're looking at this incredible account. It really shows you that intersection between just everyday life in a community and, well, serious federal law enforcement. Our mission here is to unpack how that happens. How does a local issue blow up like that? And maybe more importantly, what does it tell us about the security around, your own mail? Those layers of protection we don't usually think about.
That's a great point. It's something most people take for granted.
So this whole thing, according to our sources, it didn't start with the bathrobe scene. It began much quieter with just odd gaps in the mail deliveries, for weeks, utility bills showing up super late, a birthday card from a sister never arrived.
That's rough.
Yeah.
The sentimental stuff missing hurts.
Totally. And then an IRS form, the kind you really don't want going missing, just vanished.
Oof. Yeah, that raises the stakes immediately.
Right. And at first you think, oh, maybe it's bad luck or, maybe the mail carrier had an off day.
Sure, the simple explanation.
But the pattern here, it was described as sharp, consistent, too consistent. So it shifts, right, from just an annoyance to this, nagging suspicion. Something deliberate might be going on.
And that's a really key psychological shift, isn't it? We tend to normalize small problems. Oh, the post office is slow or whatever. It's easy to brush off.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it becomes a pattern, like you said, sharp and consistent, our perception changes. It stops feeling like random chance and starts feeling like potential foul play. Targeted? Maybe. And missing things like IRS forms, that has real financial worry tied to it. Or a birthday card that's emotional. Feels like a violation, even before you know what's happening.
A violation of trust in the system, almost.
Precisely. A breach of something you rely on every day without thinking. That feeling of vulnerability, it's potent.
And that feeling, it went from potent to, explosive with that early morning scene. The source described it vividly. 5:30 a.m., coffee brewing, looking out the window, sun just coming up, and then movement down by the mailbox.
Okay, the moment of truth.
Yeah, but it wasn't some random person, like a porch pirate. It was Brenda. Brenda, the HOA president.
No way, the president.
Yes, the same woman who was always preaching about neighborhood integrity, always handing out those HOA violation slips like they were candy.
Well, the irony.
The huge irony. There she is, lavender bathrobe, slippers on the concrete, casually going through the mailbox, takes some letters, walks off like it's just her morning paper route or something.
That is just astounding. The sheer audacity.
I know. Can you imagine the feeling? Just watching that. Betrayal doesn't even cover it.
Absolutely. What's fascinating there is that contrast. Her public role, HOA president, supposed guardian of the community standards, and then her secret actions, stealing mail in her bathrobe.
Right.
It's more than just hypocrisy. It's a fundamental betrayal of the trust placed in her.
Yeah.
Especially in that kind of role. It shatters the whole idea of community leadership she was supposed to embody.
Yeah.
And that kind of discovery, it doesn't just affect one person. It can really damage the feeling of trust in the whole neighborhood.
Oh, for sure. A total gut punch. And you'd think the first reaction would be, run out there and confront her.
Right? Adrenaline pumping.
Totally. But this person held back. They figured, okay, she was bold enough to do it once. Maybe this isn't the first time. Maybe she's doing it to others too.
Smart thinking, actually. Avoid a direct confrontation that might just lead to denial.
Yeah. So instead, at the next HOA meeting, they brought it up casually. Just mentioned missing mail.
Okay, testing the waters.
And Brenda, she just smiles, tilts her head, pearl earrings swinging apparently, and laughs. Says, oh, you know how unreliable the post office can be.
Oh, just deflects completely.
Well, but the laugh, the source said, it felt directed, not about the post office at all.
She knew exactly what was being implied.
That's the feeling. And that dismissive attitude, combined with actually seeing her, that must have been the point where it changed. How does a moment like that take it from just a neighbor problem to something the law sees differently?
That's really the critical juncture. That dismissive laugh, that deflection. It's more than just rude. Legally speaking, it signals that this isn't just about a misunderstanding or a simple grievance between neighbors.
Right.
The realization hits this isn't about HOA politics anymore.
Yeah.
This is potentially criminal.
Mm.
Because tampering with mail, stealing mail, it's not a small thing. It's a federal offense.
Federal, okay.
Yeah, we're talking Title 18, Section 1708 of the U.S. Code.
Yeah.
That's the specific law. And it comes with serious penalties, real fines, and real prison time.
How much prison time? Up to 5 years?
Yeah.
Per count, potentially.
Wow. Okay. 5 years. That definitely changes the game.
Absolutely. It elevates it instantly. Out of the realm of, neighborhood spats and HOA warnings.
Yeah.
And into the domain of federal law enforcement. It's not about arguing with Brenda anymore. It's about a violation of a federal statute that protects a national system.
A system the government takes very seriously.
Incredibly seriously. The postal system is fundamental. Think about it. Commerce, official notices, personal communication. Protecting its integrity is a core function.
So knowing that, knowing the stakes,
Mm-hmm.
calling the local police probably wasn't the right move here.
Probably not. They might handle some aspects. But the core issue is mail theft that's specific jurisdiction.
Right. So this required a different kind of call to an agency most people, frankly, probably haven't heard of. The United States Postal Inspection Service.
So the USPIS.
The Postal Inspectors. Yep. The oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country, actually.
Older than the FBI.
Older than the FBI. They've been around a long time. Specifically focused on protecting the mail.
So the narrator calls them, and unlike Brenda, they don't laugh. They listen. They take notes, ask questions. And Inspector Lopez, the agent handling it, lays it out. Says, "Sir, if what you're saying checks out, this falls under Title 18, Section 1708. That's up to 5 years. If you're willing to cooperate, we can set up a controlled delivery."
And that's the standard procedure for them. They take these reports very seriously.
So why them? Why does mail theft fall under this, unique federal agency, not just the FBI or someone else?
Well, if you look at the big picture, it makes sense. The U.S. mail is a government-operated national infrastructure. It's essential, right?
Yeah.
Connects the whole country. Commerce, legal documents, personal stuff.
Sure, everything goes through the mail.
Exactly. So its security, its sanctity is a federal responsibility. The USPIS was created specifically for that purpose. They aren't just chasing down stolen gift cards, though they do that too. They're safeguarding a fundamental government service. Ensuring trust in that system is vital for, the whole country to function smoothly. Any threat to it is seen very seriously.
Okay, that makes sense. So the USPIS is on board, and they come up with a plan described as simple but brilliant. A controlled delivery.
The classic sting.
Right. They use a decoy letter. Looks totally normal on the outside. But inside, a tiny GPS tracker. Hidden.
Ah, the technology. Irrefutable evidence.
Totally. The second that letter leaves the mailbox without authorization, they know. They can track it. The setup sounds intense. Placing the bait letter, waiting. The narrator described watching. Hands wrapped around a coffee mug like it was a lifeline.
I can imagine the nerves.
Yeah. And across the street, there's this plain sedan with tinted windows just sitting there. Inspectors inside, watching, waiting.
It does sound cinematic, but this is real federal law enforcement work. Often low-key, patient observation.
Until the moment happens.
And the genius of that GPS tracker, you really can't overstate it. You might have eyewitness accounts, you might have patterns, but a GPS signal, that's hard, objective data.
Undeniable proof.
Exactly. It turns suspicion and observation into documented, trackable movement. Proof of possession, proof of removal.
Yeah.
Crucial for court.
So picture the scene again. Sunrise, Brenda comes out, walking briskly, head held high, the source says, like she's just out for a walk.
Maintaining the persona.
Right. But she doesn't wave. She goes straight to the mailbox, opens it, slips that decoy envelope right into her robe pocket, and just keeps walking.
Wow. Bold.
Incredibly bold. And then inside that sedan, the radio crackles. Cracker's moving, subject heading northbound toward her house.
Boom. That's the moment. That's when it officially crosses the line from investigation into active tracking of a federal crime in progress.
Suspicion confirmed, proof positive, it's happening.
And that meticulous planning, the controlled delivery, the tracker, it's all designed to build an airtight case. Legally sound, step by step. No room for doubt.
The tension must have just skyrocketed then. Knowing the tracker was moving, heading into her house, by the time she got home, the inspectors had already looped in local police. They were coordinating, monitoring the tracker signal, showing it inside her house with the envelope.
Okay, containment is set.
Yeah. Inspector Lopez apparently gives the signal. Once she opens it, That's federal evidence. Watch closely.
Tampering with the mail itself, another key element.
Right. And just minutes later, they get confirmation. The tracker indicates the envelope has been opened, tampered with, inside her home.
That's it. That's the green light.
That was all they needed. Then comes the dramatic conclusion. The inspector's car rolls up to her driveway, lights flashing now. Local police, likely nearby too.
Showtime.
Brenda comes out, and she's actually clutching the envelope like she just won the lottery.
Seriously. Clutching the stolen mail.
Apparently. But that smug look, the source says, didn't last long when she saw the inspectors and the flashing lights.
I bet not. Reality check. Hitting hard.
Yeah. And this moment, it raises a really interesting question, right? What was she thinking?
Exactly. Her reaction tells you a lot.
She was apparently shocked. Her response was something like, what? This is a mistake. I'm the HOA president. I have authority.
Authority. Wow. That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not just surprise. It sounds like there's a deep sense of entitlement.
Yeah. Like her local HOA title somehow put her above federal law. A fundamental misunderstanding or maybe deliberate ignoring of how jurisdiction works.
And Inspector Lopez's reply was just perfect. Apparently very calm, very firm. Authority doesn't extend to stealing mail.
Mic drop. Just lays down the law. Literally. No ambiguity. Your local power means nothing here.
And this is all happening out in the open, right? Driveway confrontation. The source mentioned neighbors peeked out from behind curtains. And of course, phones came out.
Oh, the public spectacle. That adds another layer. Humiliation.
But interestingly, the description suggests her main emotion wasn't embarrassment, it was disbelief.
Disbelief that she could be caught. That the rules actually applied to her.
Seems like it. Which again points to that sense of entitlement. Like she genuinely thought she could get away with it because of who she was in the neighborhood.
It's a fascinating, if disturbing, psychological aspect. How people can rationalize their own bad behavior, especially when they're busy enforcing rules on others.
Absolutely. And the downfall, when it came, was swift. The immediate consequence. Brenda was indicted on multiple counts of mail theft, federal charges.
As expected, the evidence was solid.
And the HOA board. They acted fast. Probably, as the source put it, desperate to save face.
Damage control time for the HOA.
Yeah, they voted her out. Unanimously.
Can't imagine anyone voting to keep her after that.
I'm kidding. So the woman who used to, strut around like she owned the cul-de-sac, handing out violation slips left and right, she became a cautionary tale.
Overnight. From queen bee to pariah.
Pretty much. Some neighbors laughed, apparently. Others just shook their heads. But the fear, gone. Nobody was intimidated by Brenda anymore.
It's a stark example of how quickly status built on shaky foundations can crumble.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does this whole crazy story mean for us?
Well, I think it teaches some broader lessons, for sure. First, the clear power of federal law. Especially when it comes up against, local abuses of power or entitlement, federal law generally wins.
Right. The hierarchy is clear.
Exactly. And this isn't just about getting justice for one person whose mail was stolen. It's really an illustration of how even seemingly small infringements on these big government-run systems can trigger a serious response. Because protecting those systems like the mail is crucial for everyone.
It acts as a deterrent, too, presumably.
Definitely. Cases like this send a message.
Yeah.
The USPIS isn't just recovering lost letters. They're reinforcing the integrity of the entire system. Yeah. It really underscores that powerful warning. When you mess with someone's mail, you're not just having a tiff with your neighbor.
No.
You're messing with the federal government. And, as Brenda found out the hard way, they absolutely do not play around.
Wow. What a story. This deep dive into the mailbox sting, it really shows how fast things can escalate. A local annoyance, something seemingly small, just explodes into a major federal case.
It really does.
It hammers home the seriousness of mail security, those protections around the postal system, and frankly, the surprising reach of federal law into corners of life we might think are just, purely local issues.
Things we don't often consider.
So maybe next time you just casually open your mailbox, take a second, think about those unseen layers of federal protection that are actually safeguarding that simple envelope. And it makes you wonder, right? What other everyday systems that we rely on might have similar surprising oversight? What other minor seeming actions could actually have really significant consequences if you cross the wrong line?
That's a really provocative thought to end on. What seems mundane often isn't.
Definitely something to think about.